Yeah, I'm good. I thought you were speaking to Sean. Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm
That
good to
was
see.
for a second.
I'm good to see my people on the precious hour with Mr. King and Mr. Sean. It's good to see y'all. It's been a topsy turvy week. Condolences to you, Sean. And
Appreciate
I'm
it. Thank
ready.
you.
I'm ready to dive into the topics that you got. This is like one of the bright spots of my week.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad that you're here. Thank you so much for being here. Sean, again, condolences to you. I did see your post. But other than that, how are you doing this evening?
Thank you. I'm doing well. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm doing well. Thank you for your condolences. I appreciate it. It was my first love passed away, but more tragically, she passed away after her son had been murdered about a month ago. And
Mm.
so she has a daughter that's in her teenage years, 14 to 15, that actually found her mother and lost her mother and brother within 2 months. So that's what weighs heavier on my heart than anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you'll definitely be in our prayers. Um, he'll be back. He'll be back. And to my co-host, how are you this evening, Mr. King?
Hey, I'm doing good, doing well. I just got done with my live stream with my lady on The King and Me, and I'm here as always right after on Monday nights.
I appreciate you for your dedication, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I do see some folks in the chat. Before we get there, I do want to let you guys know that tonight's live is sponsored by JECreativehostings.com. If you guys need a website, definitely go over there. They'll host your website. They do all that techie stuff. I'm not good with that stuff, so you guys go on over there. HCM22 is your discount code, so definitely use that code when you are checking out for your discount. But thank you guys so much for being here. Definitely hit the like button as you come in. I see some chats. Tarika Smith, thank you so much for being here, love. She says, please show your support through Cash App. I appreciate that. Michelle 1500 is 1L, love. Good evening, everyone. Fishing the Fit, I see you in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. Quincy Q, I see you in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. World Class is your fault. What's up? What's up? What's up? Something to think about. El Nix, good evening, Precious. Good evening to you. Thank you so much for being here. All right, so it's Monday night. You already know it's the men's panel. We get into it, have the men's perspective. And I have a couple of videos that I want the men to weigh in on this evening. Hopefully Sean comes back. El Turner, I see you in the building. Thank you so much for being here. I think I just heard him come back. But the first exchange that we have for you guys this evening, I think King is actually going to share it. So a few text messages that we're going to read back and forth. Y'all know we used to do the mixed messages. And so we are doing, okay, all right. Who been completely cured of herpes? I mean, really? I just who's Franca? Which one of y'all friends? Which one of y'all friends? Get your friends. Get your friends.
I know that spam that's popping up on one of the ones that I shared too. I'll go ahead and block it. I'll go
I
block
can't
it.
even remove it.
It was the
But
same thing that came up on my side. I
yeah,
got it.
I'm like, what? I mean, we sharing perspectives tonight, but you ain't got to be that personal, okay? All right. Good evening, Donnell. Thank you so much for being here. All right. King, you have the messages we're going to share this evening. It's a couple going back and forth, and I really want to get you guys' perspective because we talk about this topic all the time with the guys, but they had a dialogue going back and forth, and the woman or his girlfriend / something else did not quite answer back. So I want you guys' perspective as we read back and forth because I think this is a real issue. I saw a video actually portraying this, and they were very serious as far as the topic at hand. While King is getting those up, Hank, thank you so much for being here this evening, sir. How are you? He might be getting set up. But he is here, so I appreciate him for being here. King, you have those messages?
I do.
Alrighty. All right. So I go first. So I'm the girlfriend, and then King's gonna respond. You still gonna think I'm beautiful after I gain weight from this pregnancy? And I'm sorry. At the top, it says, I am pregnant by this man. I legit hate men that think this way. I'm only 10 weeks. You still gonna think I'm beautiful after I gain weight from this pregnancy?
Hey, my monitors done went out. I don't know if you can still hear me. You're gonna have to do the show. I need to restart. This sucks.
Okay, no problem. We'll actually go on to the next video and we'll come back to this. Okay, we can hear you, but you can definitely go out and then come back in. Okay.
I bet.
Alrighty. All right, so we're gonna move on to the next video. This is a video that I saw on WGCI, and I want to get you guys' opinion. Again, this is the men's panel, and we always get you guys' perspective and thoughts towards certain things. Sorry, guys. Hank, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right, welcome to the show. How are you this evening?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. I can't complain at all. Glad to be here. It's Monday night, so we're going to get into it. So this is the video. We're going to get into it after this.
How is that? My situation went bad to worse in a matter of days, and I don't know where else to turn. Me and my wife have been together 8 years, and we just had our first and last baby 2 months ago.
Damn.
Up until my wife got pregnant, my mom loved my wife. But it seemed as soon as my wife got pregnant, my mama changed. She got real clingy to me, and she started to avoid my wife at all costs. She started even telling everybody that she wasn't excited about the pregnancy anymore, too. It got so bad that I had to tell my mom I would stop messing with her when my wife was about 7 months pregnant. Then my mom chilled out, and it seemed like things were okay. Until I had my sister and her family over for dinner. My daughter was fussy, and my wife went to feed her and put her to bed. My mom went to help her. The next thing I know, I hear arguing upstairs, and I go upstairs and I see my wife punch my mama in the face. I snapped and kicked everybody out the house. My wife was just in the living room with her head down, and I was mad, and I told her, I said, get out, you get out too. So she packed the baby up and left. And now she won't come back. Was I wrong?
All right, so was he wrong? Was he wrong for kicking everybody out,
Wow.
including his wife and the baby?
I won't get into right or wrong. Could he have handled it better? Yeah, probably. Under the circumstances, kicking everybody out might have been the best option in order for him to control his emotions, because obviously he was just distraught, seemingly from what we just read, and that division and that tearing, pulling from side, all sides who you love can be a difficult thing. So was he wrong? I won't say, like I said, I don't know one way or the other, but could he have handled it differently? Absolutely.
Okay. Kenny, what do you think? Do you think he was wrong?
Okay, so kicking them out, is that solving the problem? No. There had to be a start. There had to be a beginning where this contention started that he noticed. That just didn't pop up that day. Everything leaves clues. At what point do you step in and be the man of the house? Where was the pregame speech to your wife if she and your mom didn't get along? Nah, we not doing this. We got key words. If she's bothering you and you feel you can't take it, pineapples. Let me come and handle the situation if you guys have to coexist in the same space for a time. You allowed it to get there. You weren't cognizant. You couldn't read the room. And as a husband, that just didn't start that night. And you didn't try to mitigate it earlier. You waited till the powder keg exploded.
Mm-hmm.
Then your resolution is kicking everybody out the house. How is that helping the issue? To whom much is given, much is required, right?
This is true.
If
So
you
I don't want to say that he never addressed the issue. He did say that you know, after she got pregnant, the wife or the mom just didn't like the wife for some reason, which we're going to go into that too. But he said that 7 months at 7 months, when she was 7 months pregnant, the wife or the husband did say something to his mom, pretty much saying to his mom, like, I'm gonna stop, dealing with you if this continues. So he did say something. Now the baby is born, right? So now the baby is born. They have an incident where she goes to change the baby, or the baby's fussy, and now they're in a space by themselves, and this is what happens.
You can't kick out both.
Okay.
Your wife is your wife. You put your mother in a cab, you have somebody take her home, you take her home yourself, you come back home, and you address that issue. But you can't kick out the mother of your child and your wife. You have to solve that there. Who does that?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is somebody that when everything simmers down, you're not trying to leave her. You're putting her out. She's coming back. She's the mother of your child. Your child is going to be there. That's not proper planning. And where does it come to a point where my wife gets so heated that she doesn't come to me before she punches my mother in the face? Just food for thought.
That's an excellent
Land
point.
right there.
That's a good point. Hank, are you there? I know I give him a minute.
Hank said he'll be here in a few minutes.
Okay. Hello, Arpain. How are you this evening?
Wait a minute, hold on. Hello, how are you doing? How's
Good,
everybody
good.
doing?
Oh,
Doing good. How are you?
How are you?
Petey Wheatstraw.
Say what?
You heard me. You finished making that moonshine? 70 something.
I say they're still brewing.
All right, Arpain. Did you see the video I just played, or should I play it again?
No, I didn't see it. I missed it.
Okay, I'll play it again.
Yeah, you could play it again if everybody doesn't mind. Yeah, I'd like to look at it.
Alrighty.
Dear Leon, is that my situation went bad to worse in a matter of days, and I don't know where else to turn. Me and my wife have been together 8 years, and we just had our first and last baby 2 months ago.
Damn.
Up until my wife got pregnant, my mom loved my wife. But it seemed as soon as my wife got pregnant, my mama changed. She got real clingy to me, and she started to avoid my wife at all costs. She started even telling everybody that she wasn't excited about the pregnancy anymore, too. It got so bad that I had to tell my mom I would stop messing with her when my wife was about 7 months pregnant. Then my mom chilled out, and it seemed like things were okay. Until I had my sister and her family over for dinner. My daughter was fussy, and my wife went to feed her and put her to bed. My mom went to help her. The next thing I know, I hear arguing upstairs, and I go upstairs and I see my wife punch my mama in the face. I snapped and kicked everybody out the house. My wife was just in the living room with her head down, and I was mad, and I told her, I said, get out, you get out too. So she packed the baby up and left. And now she won't come back. Was I wrong?
Oh, that's a good one.
So what do you think? Was he wrong?
Yeah, he was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely, he was wrong. Matter of fact, he was wrong on all kinds of levels. He should have got his mother straight long before it ever got to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Period. And he didn't have to, be aggressive and all that. He's a mama's boy. But he should have got his mother straight. This is my wife. You need to have here's your place, here's her place, and stop competing with her. As simple as that. This, and he was absolutely wrong. But I don't know. We don't know what precipitated the fight, other than they had bad blood going on, and he allowed it to happen. So I'll land it there.
So why do you guys think that? Because you're all men and you know, have had girlfriends. I'm not quite sure. I know Kenneth doesn't have any children, but is this a thing? Like, why do you think his mom changed how she felt about his wife when she got pregnant?
Was she married?
Was it is it a yeah, they're married.
No. Was his mother married?
That I'm not sure.
That makes a
Because
difference.
yeah, he said while he was reading the letter or the entry or whatever it is, that they were very close. And then when she got pregnant, she changed her attitude completely and started to cling to her son. So do you think so that makes sense. She's not married because now you clinging to your son and his wife is pregnant with their child. And you would think that the mom would be supportive and say, you know what, you guys are starting a family. If you need me, let me know. But it seems as though she wants to be in the middle of their marriage to the point where now she getting punched in the face.
I mean, okay, the wife might have been wrong for punching her in the face, but it should have never got that far.
So how many? I mean, you know, he talked to his mom, you know, around the time she was 7 months. How many times must you talk to your mother for her to understand that she has no place in your marriage?
Oh, I missed what he talked to her about. I mean,
Well,
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Maybe
he said around the 7th month mark, he said to his mom, like, hey, look, I'm gonna have to stop messing with you because y'all are having these issues. So it doesn't seem like he really put his foot down. But my thing is, how many times do you have to talk to your mom about her having this ill content against your wife?
until she gets it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, until she gets it. Oh, but anybody else can go ahead and chime in. You know, so
The actual King Smith, are you there? Did Hank drop off too?
yeah, I think he can jump
Make
off.
sure I'm right. All right.
Not quite ready yet.
Okay.
There's a lot of
But yeah, I think that
How many
I
times?
personally think that he didn't put his foot down good enough with his mom. As soon as he saw that his mother was starting to get clingy with him when his wife got pregnant, he should have nipped it in the bud then. You know your mother. You know her better than your wife know her.
I think it's not enough information for me to come to a conclusion.
Mhm.
Only because he might know his mom, but maybe his mom saw something that was alarming about her. Maybe something else came into play. Maybe there was doubt. Maybe she heard that it wasn't his child. There's a lot of different elements that we can maybe about.
No, go off of what you heard in the clip. We can't say, well,
But
maybe
what I'm
he
saying,
didn't do
I
it,
can't.
and maybe
That's
it's
what
a
I'm saying.
baby.
But you're asking a question about whether he how well or firm he put it down, or why you asked the question, why do we think she changed? And that's why I put all the maybes in, because we don't know why she changed.
It would have never got to the radio or the internet if he knew how to handle his household and mitigate problems properly. It would have never got that way when he had to seek out foreign peers for something simple. Protect your household. This is the mother of your child. Remember that movie, Think I Get Married or something with what is it? What's the show coming? Kevin Hart and all of them. And the mother kept calling Regina King Tandis and interfering with the wedding and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You have mothers that tend to act that way, and I've seen it with friends. It could have been a point of contention, like I'm the head hen in this rooster, in this coop. And that could have been a point of contention. From what was given right there, you are supposed to know it. The communication lines are supposed to be open with your child's mother. Your mother is doing this to me. This is how I feel. Could you please speak to her? All three of y'all got to sit down. Your communication skills and ability to control your household got to the point where it became a powder keg and it exploded. inside your mama face. And then for you mitigating the problem rather than sitting on your wife and your child, making sure your mom got home safe, coming home and dealing with the issue, you put everybody out and you looking goofy on the radio trying to ask for advice.
That's facts. Good evening, Lapeef. How are you?
You on mute.
I'm on. You can't hear
You
me?
talking? Okay, yeah. Now we can.
Okay.
What up, Skipper?
Have you? I believe so. Have you seen the video?
Yeah, I saw the video.
Okay, what do you
Saw
think
the
about it?
video.
Was he wrong?
Yeah, I think he was wrong. I agree with Kenny said. It sounds like it might have been some issues that was going on prior to this event happening that should have been nipped in the bud. I don't think that his mom should be able to come in his house and be able to be reckless like that in his house. So I think that he needs to have a tone that should have been set from the beginning. Even when he had a conversation with her at the 7-month mark, he should have been able to read the room to be able to understand that the situation was a little bit sensitive and at least keep an eye on it. He did make an impulse decision. She just had a baby and you're going to kick your wife and your baby out. Because at that point, I don't know if he's into the Bible enough, but his wife comes before anything. So the last thing you should have been doing is kicking the baby and the wife out the house. But kicking everybody out the house is not going to solve anything. It sounds like he just made an emotional, impulsive decision at that time. And I don't know, man. I don't know how it's going to look for him moving forward. But I don't blame her in that moment with given the situation and circumstance of her not wanting to come back to the house. But I think he should have just probably maybe set everybody down and tried to at least figure out what's going on and then make sure everybody got home safely. And now he knows how to at least move forward from that point.
So what do you guys think about her leaving? As far as her coming back, should she come back into an environment like that? And I don't mean necessarily right away, but I mean, we at the point where I done punched your mom. Like, how do you recover from something like that? I mean, they are married, so it's not like they can just walk away from each other.
I don't think that. Yes, I mean she has to come back. It's a situation that he has to fix and get handled. That's what he signed up for. So there's no running away from this situation. This is your wife. This is your mother. You have a child with her. That's her grandchild. This is family. So you're gonna have to make sure that you do whatever it is you need to do to get everything back on the same page, or at least where the situation doesn't happen again.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Hank, were you able to see the video? I think you're on mute.
Which video? One of them I wasn't able to see. The last one, I guess, about the you talking about where the young man was reading a letter from. Okay, yeah, I seen it.
So, do you think he was wrong for kicking everybody out?
I'm sorry. What'd you say?
Do you think he was wrong for kicking everybody out?
Probably not at that moment. I kind of understood at that moment you had to do what you got to do because you didn't want to probably really play no favoritism. But I don't know if it would have been for a night. I'll just say, hey, I need for y'all to give me a couple hours, to get myself together because there's no way he could have left the house and left them two alone. There's no telling what it would have been. So he couldn't be the one to say, take himself out of the equation. So yeah, he probably did right by doing that. Now I probably would have followed up with her immediately. There's no way I would have let I think she was pregnant wife at the time, right? Or did they already have the child?
At this point, they had already had the child. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wouldn't have left them out there like that. Matter of fact, I would have said, don't even take the baby. Leave the baby here. And I'll take care of the baby while you go get you a breath. Go get you something to eat. Go get you a cup of coffee. Go hang out with your girlfriend, something, and give me a moment so I can collect my thoughts on what I just seen and witnessed and experienced. Because that's crazy. That's your mother and your wife, and so yeah, that's not good. So I probably would have kicked him out. This
Have you
wouldn't
guys
have been
ever
overnight fight.
experienced like family members fighting, like a fight break out in front of
Yeah,
you?
yes, I have.
Right. So it's
Hey,
very
Nick, you usually have
emotional.
better takes than this. This was a horrible take, man.
Yeah, but usually,
There's no way I was kicking my wife out of anything.
okay, I got you, Payne.
Well,
I mean,
the reason why.
this is a disagreement. That's all.
We see people fight. It wasn't women. It was your two cousins because they got mad over a card game because somebody felt like they cheated in dominoes or spades at the family reunion. It usually wasn't women. I mean, if there was women, they was probably arguing, not to the point of fisticuffs. As far as my family, I've never seen two female cousins of mine or family members fight, but I've seen them argue. It was two my male cousins, the ones that came to blows like that. But yeah, that's rough. That's rough.
And what's interesting about the reason why I said I couldn't really say whether he was right or wrong is because the perspective that Hank just offered. Because you don't know where another person is. He could have been ready to flip out on everybody. And the best thing for the removal of everybody just separating ways, and we don't know whether he, I don't know whether he protected them, like knew where they were going, etc., or he just said, just get out. But nonetheless, if you can't handle a situation, we don't always give people credit when they handle it in ways that we don't agree with. And quite frankly, if he would have handled it in a different way that could have been a lot more volatile, then we're having another conversation. So, I can't really sit there and say right or wrong because I don't know where his mind was.
Baby out of the house.
Well,
Again, let me say this, Payne. If you are not in control of your emotions and flipping out will make your wife and baby have a much more grim result, being that now your baby don't have a mother or father because you're ready to flip out. Then what do you say?
Listen,
Well,
you read. Okay, go ahead, Lapeef. Go ahead, man.
no, I was just going to say, I mean, I understand what you're saying because we're not there, so we don't know who this guy is and what type of mindset he has and what he's capable of doing. But just to offer another alternative of handling the situation, I probably would have just took moms and I would have just drove her home. And then that way you taking moms out of the house, he's getting away. And then also maybe he can get a breath of fresh air. I mean, as a man, you got to make sure that everything gets back in order. You can't control everything, right? And maybe he was doing all that he was doing in order to make sure he thought everything was going to be good, but it wasn't. Okay, now that it's not, where do we go from here? He still has to maintain that level of control of his emotions, as a man. And granted, we don't know him, but there were other options. So now you have to look back and sit and look at the situation and say, could I have done something better? Because if she decides not to come back, you got to factor in the safety aspect of it too. This woman is not going to feel safe, and she's going to probably think every time he reaches 10, it's a possibility that her and the newborn child is going to be out on the street. So it's a lot for her to really have to factor in at this point, because this is probably something that she never foreseen. And then as a man, we do understand that women are emotional, and it's not to excuse bad behavior, but as a man, you still got to be able to set the tone with themselves to be able to handle it accordingly.
Well, JR, you're right. And what I said before you came on is that, did he handle it correctly? I didn't agree that he did. Could he have handled it better? I said, yeah, he probably could have. So I agree with your point there. But what I'm saying is that what you just said in the last part, you said, as a man, men have emotions too. And that's what we often gloss over. And how well they deal with those emotions, we don't always have a measure of. A lot of men deal with their emotions violently. And that's why I brought up the example I gave. And if you are dealing with it and understand that that's your go-to, and you haven't matured enough to get beyond that, your best bet, everybody leave, might be a solution to that in your mind. So I can't, like I said, it's not enough information for me to determine right or wrong, but I would love to know where his mindset, because him picking that solution, which again, I don't agree that it's a great solution, there was a reason for it.
But then I guess we can even go a little bit deeper and say, should he even be married? Because I mean, if you can't, to me, it sounds like he may be unfit to lead. if you're going to be acting emotional like that, under those circumstances, should that response, it shouldn't have been responded in that manner. And that's just my opinion. I'm not coming down on you. I just think that when people
Oh,
are
come down on
watching,
him. Come
it's,
down on him.
well, I'm just saying, I mean, he's entitled to his opinion, but
It's
I think for the people that are watching, this is something that they should really kind of factor in, the emotional aspect and the various things that you may go through. And sometimes it may not be you and your wife; it can be family. And are you equipped enough to be able to withstand and be able to keep the family in order? Because that's part of your job too.
Agreed, agreed. I mean, and to your point, if we're gonna go there, then should he be married? That is questionable. I agree. But then again, people who have affairs, should they be married? Because
well,
they're not
come on,
emotionally
just
equipped.
keep moving the goalposts, man.
He's already past
I
that
keep-
line.
I'm going back to the mistakes of last Monday, Sean.
He's already past
Right.
that line.
Not
No,
going back.
I agree. I'm
You
just
understand?
saying I don't measure mistakes. I don't
Okay,
measure
Sean,
the mistakes.
you gotta pick a side, baby. You understand? This is a conversation with the information given.
That's
The
right.
strongest point, you're supposed to be the protection for the mother of your child and your baby. It's simple to mitigate an issue. Remove one side. Get that side out. Why you think she don't want to come back home? Women are emotional creatures. In a time of adversity where she did wrong and you could have mitigated the issue, you choose to put the mother of your child out with your little baby, not knowing her emotional state once she left your house. That could have turned out bad. That
Now
could
she
have
don't want to come back.
That could have quantified into something real bad. How is a woman when all that emotion simmers down, I cannot trust him to cover me and protect me? Because at a greatest time of adversity, he put me out and didn't care where I went
So
with my baby.
is that his wife or
I mean,
his baby mama?
No.
That's right.
They're married. They're married.
Okay. Okay.
No,
I mean, but we're assuming a lot. We're assuming that he
no,
didn't
we
care.
not. No, with the information given, he put her
Again,
out.
he never, and no information said he didn't care.
Okay,
It said he put him out.
okay. Watch this. You're picking at straws now. The implication.
No, I'm not.
Okay,
I'm
allow me-
letting you know.
Allow
I'm
me
letting
to,
you
allow
know
me to
that
broach
you.
it. Sean,
Okay, go
watch.
ahead.
Allow me to broach
Go ahead.
it. It's not implied on her point. Why you think she don't want to come home?
I don't know that. That's what you're assuming. I don't know why she don't
Okay.
want to come home.
All right. So now,
That's what you're bringing in a whole nother element.
okay. So did
You
he
don't
handle-
either. You don't know why she
Oh,
didn't want to come
okay,
home.
you're not letting me finish. That means you just want to talk.
That's
You understand? You're a married man. You signed that contract. We had that discussion on another talk on King Talk. That contractual agreement for richer or for poorer, for better or for worse. If you really down and you planted your feet in that belief right there, there's no way. Your wife has passed on to you. That's your protection. Your mother has to stand out now. That's what you're supposed to be protecting. Woman, child. That's the covenant. I know that much about the Bible. You cannot put your wife out. The only way for you to mitigate an issue at that point with the given information, you love your mom, make sure she get home safe. Come home and handle your house.
That is a way. I agree with you.
That
is a
is
way.
the way.
That is the way.
I mean, I hear you both, but there's no the way. That's your way. That
Yes,
is the way.
yes, there is.
So Sean, would you ever do that? Would you ever put your wife and child out after an altercation or an incident that happened?
Well, one, like I said, y'all gonna say I'm moving the goalposts. I don't have enough information to determine that. But in
Your
certain
wife, your wife,
circumstances,
your wife,
I'm about to.
your
I'm
wife
gonna. I'm
looked
gonna.
at your mother.
I'm going to share with you why certain circumstances. For example, we're saying to protect her, my wife. My wife has just lost control and hit my mother. So maybe I'm protecting my wife from herself. Now, again, Can I finish before you jump in?
I'm sorry,
Again,
I put myself
I
on
know,
mute.
you can't help yourself. I get it, but
That's it.
but nah, but here's what we saying. It was never established. It was determined that they both left, but he didn't say y'all both get out. She could have been on some, yo, I'm taking the kid.
No.
We don't
He
know
kicked them.
this.
He kicked everybody out.
And
Sean,
that becomes,
Sean, he kicked
I
everybody out.
understand, but once again,
And
okay,
I'm asking
once
you.
again,
We're not even talking
you
about the
asked me a
video
question.
anymore.
You asked me a question. You asked me a question. Here it is. If my wife already done snuffed my mother, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm already thinking like, yo, you out of bounds. Now I'm trying to rationalize with my wife, like, yo, babe, regardless of how you feel right now, it shouldn't have got to that point. Now she continuing to escalate it, perhaps. I don't give a fuck. And you need to take my side. Which happens. I understand my wife. I understand my mother. I understand me. So the answer to your question is, if the circumstances get into a point where I start and start feeling a little unbalanced, and my solution is to get away, and I say, yo, just leave. And then she comes to me and says, well, I'm taking a baby. Am I to argue that at that point and make it and escalate it further?
So it sounds like you take your mama's side.
No, mama gone already.
So you told mom to leave?
Mama gone. Now I'm sitting here like, yo, I need you to leave. I'm going in a direction of what we just decided. Like he said, he just said, everybody give me a second, whatever the case may be. We're adding stuff onto it because we have no choice but to. But the point is that if I'm like, yo, I need you to just leave me alone. Then she start, well, I'm taking a baby. Are you going to sit there and argue that? Or are you just going to make sure, yo, go to your sister's house? We don't know where she went because it didn't say that he was, that's why I said, it didn't say that he didn't care. He might have said, yo, go to your sister's house, get out of here. I'm taking the baby then. Okay, go take the baby. Just get to your sister's house. We don't know all of these things. We are assuming it.
Well, we know he didn't care. He didn't care for her to beat her. We do know that.
That's true. And that's why I said, did he handle it correctly? No, but might that have been the best situation at the moment? We don't know. Yeah, it's a possibility that was the best situation for the circumstance. We're just sitting here going on how we feel and hindsight coming up with the solution, but we wasn't there. Hindsight is easy to come up with a solution.
I came to my conclusion without any extra information. He's wrong. He kicked his baby out into the diaspora with a wife who was over emotional, and he kicks her out into the street.
He didn't kick his baby out.
See, you get out too. He didn't say, I don't give a shit where, if I'm gonna add like you, I don't give a shit where you go, you just can't be here.
He didn't kick
that could be what he said too. But so let's not add these scenarios to it. He should,
what you just added that. He didn't say that. You just added that.
Under no circumstances should he have asked his wife and his baby to leave. It's crazy.
No, he didn't ask the baby to leave. He didn't ask the baby.
Take the baby. You know, when you take the baby with you, get the hell out and take the baby with you.
That ain't what he said.
Okay, let's go back to the contract under marriage.
He could have said anything.
Under his nuptials, was he supposed to kick out his wife and child?
No.
Thank you.
Wait. First off, the nuptials are to say protect. If that was the protection that he needed to do for everybody,
out to the street.
Again. Have you ever kicked your child out? Wait. Can I just say? And let's not let. Okay, so maybe that's where the difference is. Because if in fact
we ain't talking about somebody on their own, a wife and baby, and we don't know that his mother didn't punch her in the face first. How you know his mother didn't punch her in the face first?
I feel your emotional attachment to her baby.
I'm not emotionally attached.
Yes, you are. I feel it, and it's good. It's all right.
What are you talking about?
I'm just trying not to be emotionally attached to it. And to your point, I might have.
So, Sean, real quick,
Mhm.
Was part of the vows forsaking all others? Was that part of the vows as well?
If
When
that's
you
what they
get
said in their
married and you
vows,
read
yes.
off that thing, richer for
I
poorer,
mean,
forsaking all others, wasn't that part of it?
again, if that's the
No,
vows,
no, no.
yeah,
I
that
asked
is a
the
part of it.
question. That's a yes or no.
I said if that's the vows, yes. Yeah, I've answered you.
So that debunked what you just said.
No, it didn't. It just was another
Forsaking
solution. You don't
all
know.
others. Those words are
Okay,
clear.
okay,
Rashawn,
okay.
I'm
Forsaking
surprised by
all
you
others.
being that you're a man who likes to coach the women up. You know, you out here saving hoes and rekindle the holiness with all in them. I'm
Well,
surprised, man. I'm
well,
surprised that you taking this
well,
stance,
well,
brother.
well. Please. I mean, that's because
You are willing
again,
to
like I
talk.
said,
You are willing to talk to the husband's wife. You'll talk to
yes.
the wife prior to talking to the husband,
Well,
and you're
well,
taking
well.
this
Here's
stance.
here's
I
the
don't
issue.
understand, Sean.
Well, the stance that I'm taking is the fact that we automatically assume that a man's emotional capacity is of ours, and that's a bad assumption sometimes. And so, if his emotional capacity is not of ours, that could have been detrimental for the child, the mother, and the wife. And y'all not getting that.
Well, I think it's like Lapeef said. It's should he be married at that
Agreed. I
point?
agree with Lapeef there.
Because to me, it just seems like they have had a continuous, since she's been pregnant, a continuous contention between the two. So, if you're going in the order of things, then as the husband, you do need to check your mother, and you come off as respectful as you can, but sometimes you have to stand your ground as a man, and not just her son, but as a husband to your wife, and say, Mom, if we got to go a couple months or whatever without talking, I have to set some type of boundary with you. And sometimes you have to maybe use those words. I have to set a boundary with you. And if you don't like it, it's not for me to have to cater to what you like and what you don't like, because I'm married. And I think sometimes mothers and sons, when the son goes off, the son is supposed to cleave, right? You're supposed to leave your family. You're supposed to cleave to your wife, not disown your family, but leave them. So, moms sometimes can get too involved in their son's business. They want to tell their business. They want to tell their girlfriends. They want to tell when, y'all not on the same page, or when you're bickering and going back and forth. And then sometimes moms feels like they have this, seniority complex, where it's just like, oh, well, he not going to go against me. I'm mom. I'm always going to be here. I brought you into this world. They have this entitlement about them. And not to say that their importance doesn't go away, but they're not as important anymore. And that's by word, by order. So, you have to set those boundaries. And I think as a man, as a leader, when you're able to do that in a healthy manner, then you're ready to lead. Because you can't have everybody else on, in control, but don't have your house in order, and don't have your family not respecting your new family. That just can't happen. And so the wife, I don't know what happened in that
Agreed.
bedroom, but the wife, probably tried to respect her and her husband, because that is his mother. But like you said, women are emotional. And so without the direction of a man in that room, it was going to go haywire.
Yeah, agreed. And to Kenneth's
In her
point,
head, in the back of her head, like, she got one more time to talk to me, like she
yeah,
crazy. She got one more
and
time.
to everybody's point, you're right. And to everybody's point, maybe the mother shouldn't have been there at all. But we're talking about order. Often I hear this word order, but can we agree that it was disorderly? The whole outcome is in disarray. It's in disorder. So how are we going to apply order in something that has none, and act as if it was there? There was no order there. And so I'm
What
not
do you mean there was no order?
there was no, for it to get to that point, there was no order in the house. And so I agree he should have created order before he even invited the mother over, especially if she knew there was contention. But he didn't.
I don't know if order is the right word. I don't think that there was respect. When his wife got pregnant, his mother didn't respect the fact that she was pregnant, and now she has needs and wants as a pregnant woman and a wife that mom gotta step out the way. Somebody in the chat said you only get one mom. You do only get one mom, but when you're married, mom has to know her place.
Agree, but we're assuming again.
But is mom gonna be in the bedroom when y'all having sex? No. Is mom should mom be there when you're arguing? No. Should mom be? There's a place for mom. Mom shouldn't be all up in the mix. I remember when Hank said one time, "Don't mess up my stew. This is my stew. Don't mess up my stew." Right? So mom need to go. Right. Mom has to go.
So can you do me a solid? Could you play it again? Because it's obvious I'm missing something. I got to be missing something. I mean, yeah.
Dear Leon, is that my situation went bad to worse in a matter of days, and I don't know where else to turn. Me and my wife have been together 8 years, and we just had our first and last baby 2 months ago.
Damn.
Up until my wife got pregnant, my mom loved my wife. But it seemed as soon as my wife got pregnant, my mama changed. She got real clingy to me, and she started to avoid my wife at all costs. She started even telling everybody that she wasn't excited about the pregnancy anymore, too. It got so bad that I had to tell my mom I would stop messing with her when my wife was about 7 months pregnant. Then my mom chilled out, and it seemed like things were okay. Until I had my sister and her family over for dinner. My daughter was fussy, and my wife went to feed her and put her to bed. My mom went to help her. The next thing I know, I hear her arguing upstairs, and I go upstairs and I see my wife punch my mama in the face. I snapped and kicked everybody out the house. My wife was just in the living room with her head down, and I was mad, and I told her, I said, get out, you get out too. So she packed the baby up and left. And now she won't come back. Was I wrong?
So I think we heard some information, at least some new information, playing it back, especially when he said she chilled out. So it seems like he was under oppression and everything was good between them.
True that.
I don't look. I didn't realize another adult was in the house too. I just thought it was just them two. So I would have told the sister, nothing against you, take mama home. Get mama up out of here. You know, get up out of here. And or I don't know, did mama drive over there? I don't know what the situation was. Regardless, I would have had sister take it one way, me and my wife going another way, and we're gonna have a conversation. And I got to ask, what was that about? Why did you hit her? What did she say or do to you to push you over the edge like that, where you had to put hands on it? You know, that's not the you don't disrespect the elder woman, first of all, let alone his mother. So what happened? Now I don't. Hopefully she would take it to the point where she got argumentative and stuff like that, like what I guess what Sean was saying. Well, you don't tell me. Well, hopefully she didn't get to that point. Now, if she did get to that point, that's something different. Then you got to deal with it differently. But as a man, as a husband, I'm gonna deal with her. I'm not gonna deal with my mother. Mother's gonna be secondary. I'm gonna address her. Especially I got somebody else there to kind of referee the situation, so I ain't got to worry about mama coming in, flying on top of the couch with a goddamn elbow. You know, because she's still mad because she got hands laid on her. So, sis, take her out of here, get her away from here. You know, take on a drive and talk to her, please, and let me, you know, talk to my wife and try to figure out what happened and resolve it. Now, I don't expect them to be holding hands, saying kumbaya by the end of the night, but at least, you know, let my mom know, Mom, I love you, but tonight we're gonna just cut it short here. Right. Y'all be safe and cut it down and then get it go with, and you just address and figure out what happened between you and your wife, and hopefully they're able to come to some type of reconciliation where they can at least apologize. I'm not gonna say all's gonna be forgiven, but at least apologize. But within the next couple of days or so, hopefully. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Go ahead. Okay.
So that whole situation is crazy. I didn't hear the video the first time, so you playing it back was the first time that I heard it, and I have a lot of questions that I'm thinking about. Chief among them being, what was done? Oh, I'm sorry. What is his wife's temperament enough for the mom to say something or do something to just pop off the way she physically does something to this person in his house? Now, I think all of the men here might agree that if you're talking to your spouse or your significant other, I would counsel my lady to say, hey, if something's jumping off, hold your temper, come get me. All right, let me handle this, because for her to just pop off immediately in that room, there's a lot there that I'd like to know that speaks to that wife's temperament. And if she can't do that, that might not be something that might be somebody. That's somebody that I can't trust if you don't have the temperament to keep yourself from popping off on somebody's mom like that. I don't care what the mom does. Come get me.
I agree with that, King. I think that's your first recourse. I mean, you married, right? So your first recourse should be your husband. I don't agree that she should have hit her. I mean, I believe you respect all your elders, so I don't believe that it was right for her to hit his mother. So that was definitely wrong. I'm going to read some of these comments and then we're going to move on. Let's see. All right. So Blaze says, we've all lost our cool in the heat of the moment at one point or another, but kicking out your wife and newborn baby wasn't the right move to make. He also says, where am I at here? There we go. Based on the clip alone, the son did try to check his mother for her sudden behavior towards his wife, but maybe it wouldn't have been best to cut ties. She might be his mother, but toxicity is toxicity. Passport Bro Villain says, if my wife raised her hand to hit my mother, I'm going to have to physically teach my wife to never disrespect my mom. Dang. Blow for blow?
Allegedly.
The wife and child takes precedence. Blaze also says, personally, no, I wouldn't kick my mother and our newborn baby out. I would have drove my mom home, took the long way home to clear my head, and then I would have returned home to speak with my wife. That sounds doable. I would have let the mom say whatever to me, and if she hit me, I still would have restrained so I wouldn't look like the bad one. I hear that. I don't know, though. Somebody got to defend moms, Quincy says. Yeah, mom should have just got hit on like she did. I definitely do not agree with that. But I do agree with what King said. If you can't come get your husband to come diffuse, like, hey, come get your mom. Don't take it upon yourself to put hands on someone else. That is definitely wrong. All right. So we're going to move on to the next topic here. Wanted to get you guys' opinion of this video. It looked like it could be a skit. However, I believe that men do go through this. Wanted to see if he handled this in the right way or if this could have been handled differently as well.
I'm appreciated. I'm not going to keep paying for a past mistake that I made. I've changed. I paid the price for the mistakes I made. And if you continue to convict me, you're convicting an innocent person. I'm not the same man. Me going to the gym should not be a threat to you. Me being promoted in my job shouldn't be a threat to you. Me getting a new car should not be a threat to you. I feel like I'm sleeping with the fucking enemy. I don't understand why you're here if you don't want to make shit work. It's like you're staying just to make me pay. If you're here, then you got a responsibility to do your part. Otherwise, be woman enough to leave. I'm out of here, baby. I love you too, but I can't deal with this.
Alrighty, so it seems like she asked, why did you leave? And he gave his reasoning. But I wanted to ask you guys a question. What happens when a woman keeps persecuting a man for something that he is trying to fix? What happens? What happens to you as a man when you're trying to fix and you're making progress on a past mistake and a woman is continuously persecuting you for it or harping on you over that mistake that you made?
Is she a wife or is she a girlfriend?
I didn't hear him say anything about a wife or a girlfriend. So at this point, I'm gonna say that maybe they're just dating
Oh, okay.
because he said you could be a woman and leave. I would hope that he wouldn't say that to his wife.
I
But,
thought you were asking a question in general, not in reference to the video. So my
let's just say in dating, because just because you marry don't mean the things that's going on in dating or actually change. So people. I mean, everybody's not married yet. So how do you handle it going from a dating situation to a marriage? So does it even reach marriage? At this point.
Oh, she
well, I
gone.
think it. Go ahead.
No, she gone. That's she's a victim of the restaurant. That's where she's gonna be left at. I mean, if she's gonna constantly throw my transgressions in my face, even though I've shown a history of changing and no longer doing it, and it comes up in our disagreements, arguments, or she sees something to maybe have a flashback or something of what I did in the wrong, and you throwing it in my face like I can't stand you. Used to, I don't see how you could even entertain that woman. If she's gonna throw it in my face, it'd be something different if she say, Hank, I'm having a hard time right now. I'm flashing back to some stuff that you did. I'm really having a hard time today, and I need some space between me and you. Okay, cool. I can understand that. And I'm gonna do what I can to try to talk you down or talk you through it. Is it something I could do? Matter of fact, I'm gonna be apologetic. Again, I'm sorry for making that mistake and making that bad decision. The reason I can share this is because I had to do this. When I made a selfish decision and my ex-wife flashed back and had reminders of my transgression I did wrong, she would throw it in my face. Until I had to have a conversation with her and talk to her. I said, look, that's not helping us. You will continue to peeling off the scabs of the wounds that we're trying to heal. And you throwing it in my face constantly like that is not going to get us anywhere. That's not going to help us to move further along in our healing. I said, now, we had to go counseling. And one of the things he said, told her, like, there's nothing wrong with you expressing that to him. But it's how you do it. Don't do it in a matter of, y'all get to arguing and you throw it in his face. That's not going to help the situation. So he had to tell her, like, come to him, with a loving heart and say to him, hey, I'm having a rough day. I'm thinking about what you did and what happened. And the information he showed me, he said, I got to be apologetic because it's going to continue to bother. It may bother to the day she died. Am I still willing on being in this relationship and dealing with that, knowing this could happen? I said, I can handle it as long as she, is not demonstrative and argumentative and try to do it like that. I can handle it. If she sit there saying I'm having problems, situation and flashbacks, I can handle that. The other part, I can't deal with. So as a man who dealt with that, yeah, I know that feeling. And it's not cool. I mean, you realize that you make mistakes. You realize that you're not perfect, and I definitely came up short. But to throw it in my face like that's tough. So
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think that was pretty good, man. One of the things that I want people to really consider is how important that foundation is. Like that foundation is everything. I think that if more men are intentional in their decision when it comes to what it is that they want to do, then they will probably make less mistakes. The hard truth is that if you do make a mistake, I'm not saying that women don't make mistakes, but I'm just speaking just from a man's point of view. If a man makes a mistake early on, she's not gonna never be the same. I mean, she's not gonna never forget it. It's gonna be something that's gonna be ongoing, and you got to make that uncomfortable decision as to whether you want to deal with this, because even if she doesn't express it to you, it's a strong possibility that she's still thinking about it. And it may be affecting her in other ways, and she may not be able to fully open herself up to you. One of the things also too is that if you guys got some time vested, you guys may be able to recover that, especially if you got some years in the game and you guys were damn near married. It may be something that you may be able to resolve to make it work, but it's still not a guarantee that um, it's not going to never come back up again. So it, if we are a little bit more intentional when we are dating, then I think that you'll have less problems and you'll have better women. And I'm not saying this speaks for every situation, but you give yourself a higher potential of being able to have a full feminine woman without any issues if you just but focus on doing the right thing. So um, if you are in that situation, she probably gonna keep bringing it up, and it's because she's hurt. She doesn't really know how to respond. It just keeps coming up, and she's broken. She's broken, and she's probably gonna be that way. So good luck to whoever's out there going through that, but just be intentional in the beginning, and that foundation is everything. If you got you a good solid foundation, you'd be surprised at what a woman would do for you.
Agreed.
All right. Thank
You
you.
know what's
Thank you.
interesting? I agree with everything he just said, and the point that Hank was saying, I understand it as well. But what happens is that, let's say in the scenario that Hank brought up, he was the issue in the beginning, but then it became a time where she became the issue, and that also has to be recognized, because now it takes not just his work, but it also takes her work in order for them collectively to move forward. And if she doesn't recognize, like he said, where she is now conflicted, and or that hurt that she's harboring, and that pain and that hardened heart that she's not allowing to be softened because of the past trauma, or the pain that she went through, she now is the issue. And now she needs to put in the same work that he was doing, and the intention that he had. Now she has to have it, and somebody needs to be able to tell her that, so that she can actually start it. It will be hard for her to receive it from him, but somebody needs to tell her, because now it's going to take both of their work in order for the relationship to continue to blossom.
Let me just add this real quick. I know somebody else wants to go. One of the things that you got to ask yourself is, if whatever you did, if it was done to you, would you be able to forgive them? And I was in a situation where somebody asked me that, and I'm like, it'd be a hard one. So just imagine what the woman has to go through, depending on what it is, and you may be asking a huge favor. And I know women do give some women are a lot more forgiving than any man would be, and that's just the truth. Because I just know some men that just won't be able to forgive certain things, and it is what it is. It just maybe just may be the way that they design. But just ask yourself that question: if it was done to me, would I be able to forgive her? And I think you'll be able to have a little bit of understanding of what she may be going through.
I agree with that wholeheartedly, but that's where it should start. You should have already said that. That should already be a given. And if you can't handle it, or if you can't ask yourself that question, then you got a lot of issues within that you got to work on, a lot of emotional maturity that you got to grow into. And a lot of men don't see it that way because they're built that way. But when you say you're grown, for example, with the N at it, that means that you're almost established and there's no room to grow. You're always growing. Once you put that grown in any capacity, man or woman, you're kind of limiting yourself from being able to embrace the growth that you still need.
I think from that video that there's a certain point that you'll get to as a guy that, okay, I messed up on something. I've asked you for grace. You've given me grace, yet you are still hurt by it. When we're looking at moving forward, if you're going to bring up that one thing and it's unrelated to how we're trying to move forward, I think you get to a point to where you're like, she keeps bringing up old shit. I feel like I'm putting too much energy into this old shit that's not related to how things are going now. And you can get to a point to where a guy just says, you know what, I'm done with this. It's okay for you to express what you're hurt about. It has to make sense though for what's going on. And if you're just going to bring up something that stung you because you're hurt about something, but it's unrelated to what we're trying to move forward with now, I'm out.
It's death by 1,000 cuts.
Your mic is muted, Precious.
I just realized that. I was asking our pain. Thank you. What happens?
Okay, I was gonna let Kenny go first if we wanted to.
Okay, Kenny, go ahead. What happens when a man is continuously persecuted for something he is trying to fix?
That's like I was stating, death by 1,000 cuts. You living in tyranny. If you wish to have me in the house and then I'm trying to make it right and atone for what I did, of course there's going to be feelings for it, but he gave like at least 3 to 4 examples of, okay, I'm doing this, I'm still getting it that way. I'm going to the gym, I'm getting it that way. I get a promotion, I'm getting it that way. What's the outcome she wants? You obviously still have him in the home and still with you, and you still, okay, I could say y'all share a bed. If you're not happy, leave, but don't torture somebody. That don't make you better than the offense that was committed against you. That take me back to that like Tyler Perry film when homeboy did her dirty and he was crippled and she was doing him all dirty. He had stinky butt. She threw him in the water and all kind of stuff like that.
Christina, sorry,
and still crying and stuff like that. You also, as a man, you got to know when your cup runneth over. It's done. I'm not going to stand here and stress myself into doing something stupid or hurting myself. I would have to gracefully give her my 30-day eviction notice signed by me, and I got to go because I love you, as he stated at the end in closing, but I can't tolerate this no more. You're going to keep digging and cutting me. You want me to suffer? You don't think, like in jail, like certain people in jail, they got stipulations. Instead of getting life, they give them 25 years, but they got to write a letter every year on the person that they killed birthday. And most of those people can't. That's the same parallel. You just keep reminding me of my time of indiscretion. I'm trying to be right by you. I'm trying to do right by you. When can I ever atone? Why keep me here? Yeah, I think it's a terroristic action. Someone did wrong. If you don't want them to atone, let them go.
Okay. Our pain.
Listen, I agree with Kenny. If that was just my girlfriend, it'd be over. If that was just a lady I was dealing with, I wouldn't take that torture. But for so long, I would have to. If there's a penance period, I can dig that. But if she ain't letting me forget it and I can't move forward, why torture each other? She's, if we're married, I think that a man who may have cheated on his wife or something like that, she's going to torture you for a while if she stays with you. So you have to give her some grace that if she wants to stay there, keep her family together, you're going to go through some penance. And she might not give you a date. She might not be able to do it. But just by the fact that she's still there and trying to fix things, you got to give her some grace. And it's not going to be that easy to walk away. Excuse me. But, of course, a man is not. Most men aren't going to forgive their wives for the same kind of transgression. I know I wouldn't. But that's just because men and women are not the same. I'm not saying one's better than another. We're just not the same. And we need to stop trying to put each other in the same box. So women do generally forgive men for indiscretions, especially since that guy's a select guy that she knew had a lot of girlfriends in the past. But to just stay on point, you have to take more penance if you're married. But if you're just my girlfriend, we're done. We are done. Because I'm not going to keep, some girlfriend just keep torturing the hell out of me, get the hell out. Let's go separate ways and just have done with it. Because there's no path forward. And so let me just leave it there.
All right. Do you think you can forgive someone but not fix the issue? Because that's what it sounds like with his girlfriend or wife or whatever you want to call it. It seems as though she may or may not have forgiven him, but doesn't want to fix the issue. And I think that happens a lot with people where they forgive the other person, but they don't necessarily want to fix it, but they don't necessarily know how to communicate that either.
Yeah, I mean, I think that happens all the time. That's what I was saying in my point. I think you do get to a point to where, kind of like that Paula Abdul song, 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. Yeah, I think that, okay, I had a transgression. From the other person's point of view, they've been hurt by it. I think that it's a meaningful thing to bring something up if it's relevant to what the current discussion is. But if I can't tell you why I'm hurt about something currently, and I'm only bringing up old stuff, then you're just doing circles inside of a hamster wheel. I'm not interested in doing circles inside of a hamster wheel just to be doing circles. Let's work on our now. And if you can't, I'm out.
Okay. So I think I pretty much heard a lot of you say, hey, I might have to forgive you, but I'm not going to necessarily, if I can't fix it, I'm not going to stay around. Or if you're not willing to meet me halfway, I'm not going to stick around and deal with it. I heard R. Payne say, in a marriage, you're going to have to give grace because it's understood that, hey, look, she gonna hold it, she gonna be emotional and keep bringing it up, or just hold that emotional, negative space for it. That's what I would call it. It's almost like negative space because we can't even move forward now because this is something that you have to get through. And not to say that relationships are perfect. There are going to be things that you have to get through. But when someone is trying to fix an issue and you're not trying to meet them, then I think that the person that is trying probably should take a step back and say, I'm not getting any reciprocation here. What is another way he could have handled it without leaving?
But before you go on to that one, can I just add one thing about the married couple? I know from an anecdotal situation where a woman was cheated on by her husband, and it's a relative, and she stayed with him, but she's torturing the hell out of the guy. And I told her, I said, listen, at some point, if you're gonna stay with him and forgive him, you're never gonna forget, but you're gonna have to ease up on the penance, because even in a marriage, there's gonna be a point where he's gonna just say, you know what, there's just no use. I can't do anything to make it better anymore. So everybody has a breaking point.
When you
So
say
it's just
torture, what did she do?
no,
What is
no,
something-
he cheated on his wife, right? But she's not letting him forget it, and of course the social media kept going to the woman's page, and the woman kind of knew she was going to the page, so she would put little things out there to just. I said, how do you know this? Well, I keep going to her page. You got to stop going to her page. You got to forget about this chick, right? And blah blah blah. But so if you're going to forgive the guy, you're going to forgive him, and you're never going to forget. You're going to forgive him. But if you're going to keep bringing it up every time you get triggered, you can't get past go. So the only point I said at some point he's not going to be able to take it no more. And I just said for that.
Well, when she got hurt, it was his issue. But when she became bitter, it's now her issue. And again, she needs to work on that issue. And if she's not willing to accept that accountability, that her bitterness is causing now the wedge in the relationship, then there is no other choice but to leave it until she can allow that hardened, bitter heart to soften.
Well, let me just finish my thing on this one. She is much better now. The relationship is much better now. And I don't know, it's because I told her, I said, listen, at some point you're going to have to say, we're going to move on. If you're especially going to stay with the dude. And, they're in a much better position now. I mean, they're going on trips and all that. All that. Her penance for him is him taking on trips and stuff. She's making her take him everywhere, you know. So that's the bottom line. So it's different strokes for different folks. But the point is, women are going to put you through. If you're a man and cheat and you get forgiven, you're going to go through some penance. You're just going to have to deal with that if you want to keep your family together. That's it.
So, you know, when they say love is patient, that's one of the that's patience. DJ Envy cheated and his wife went on a tour emasculating him and taking 30-day vacations with no cell phone service. Sheesh. Passport Bro Villain says, I was in that exact situation. I apologized for cheating, but every time she'd lose an argument, she would bring it up. Told her straight up after 3 years of bringing up, I paid my debt and I'm not sorry no more. Ooh, I know that was a blow. When I made my mistake, Bomb Cherry Juice says, when I made my mistake, I realized I have to allow hubby to get through it however he does. If I have to hear him mention it every so often, I have to deal with it. The trust was broken. Yeah, I think that, you know, as far as women, when it comes to cheating, I think that, you know, women kind of instantly lose their mind as if, you know, they have no home training. They don't know, you know, how to handle it. They don't know where to go. And some of them don't. Some of them don't know how to handle cheating. They don't know who to go to talk to and things like that. And so their mind kind of does the Olympics of thoughts. Who is she? Why did he do it? It's so many things that runs through a woman's mind. So, you know, any little thing can trigger her. And so that's where a woman has to make up in her mind, do I love him? Do I really want to be here? Because if that's the case, I need to learn how to move forward with this. And a lot of women go in circles with it. Like they, you know, they go in circles and it hinders the man because, especially if the man is trying. Now, you know, if he's still dropping hints that, you know, he's sneaking off and things like that, then I can understand why a woman is crazy because you're not even showing any signs that you want to be better. But if he's showing signs, then, you know, a woman has to do her part in working with him. And part of doing her part is, you know, and I hate to say it, and I know a lot of women aren't going to adhere to this or like what I'm going to say, but you're going to have to throw some things in the sea of forgetfulness. Because if you continue to remember them, they're going to continue to bring up those old memories, those old emotions, and you're going to find yourself in a hamster wheel of negative emotions when a man is just trying to move forward. And no one needs to be held hostage for things that they're trying to work through and work out of. So I think it does take two, but it definitely takes a lot more on a woman's end, only if she's going to stay, only because she is the more emotional one. So if you need help regulating your emotions, you got to be honest about that and go get the help if you love that man and you want to be there. But if not, don't waste his time. If you know it's something that you can't handle and you know that your mind every morning, noon, and night is on it, thinking about it, you don't understand why it happened, you can't get past it, you keep crying, you know, you can't operate throughout your day because depression and things like that takes over women. Men can work through it. Women don't want to go to work. They can't do nothing. They cry, like it stops your productivity. So you have to be honest with yourself and say, okay, I'm going to take the necessary steps. And I know I can't do this alone. And women have to be honest about that. There are a lot of women that do not know how to handle their emotions or get over someone that they're not supposed to be with, or calculate in their mind why they're in a situation, and you're in the situation because you're not changing your mind about the situation and you're not getting any help getting out of the situation. When you did all that you can do and you can't do no more and the situation is not changing now, you know you need to bring in some help. And you can't be ashamed of that. You know, you have to invest in yourself. If you're not going to invest in yourself, nobody else is. All right. So, King, you have those messages from earlier?
I do, and they are ready.
All right. So we're going to go through these messages. All right, so this top of it says, I am pregnant by this man. I legit hate men that think this way. I'm only 10 weeks. If you guys have not yet, hit the like button. Definitely subscribe to the channel and click the bell to be notified for all lives. Okay. So you still gonna think I'm beautiful after I gain weight from this pregnancy?
Hey, look, I know this subject is touchy, but I know you asked because you really want to know. To be 100% honest, I still find you beautiful. But the other part of that is I'm physically attracted to women who is smaller in shape and dress size. Like I love a thick woman, but I love thick women who keep it in shape if I'm being 100% honest.
So to sum this up, I'm just the right amount of attractive for you to fuck me, but you're not physically attracted to me. Thank you for your honesty. It's always appreciated. Can you further explain this?
Okay, I'll explain it. If I shave my head completely bald, shave my beard completely off, or let myself go and got obese and sloppy and fat and never took care of myself physically, would it be fair to you to condemn and make you feel guilty for not being attracted to me in that state? I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I'm glad that you'll be the mother of my child. You are a good mother, caring, kind, generous, patient, and understanding. You want the best for everyone around you. And I know our child will grow up in a safe and loving environment. So I'm confident and reassured that we got this. I might have said, I might have had these slides off a bit.
Okay, so yeah. So she says, I get that. Now my question for you is, are you physically attracted to me?
Face-wise, absolutely. Body-wise, if I'm being honest, could use some work. And then I think that slide came afterwards. But yeah.
So after reading that, I think that there was, well, what do you guys think after reading that? Because you guys are the fellas and you heard the conversation. Chat, definitely join in the conversation. But after hearing that, what do you guys think? She's 10 weeks pregnant and they had this conversation about weight during and after the pregnancy.
I personally think that they shouldn't have had the conversation if she couldn't handle what it was that was going to be spoken about. And she did a good job, at least on the surface, but why even bring that up if you're not really going to like the results, or you're not able to handle the results of the answer? Don't ask me a question if you can't handle the answer.
What made you think that she couldn't handle the answer?
Well, she said, I hate when people think like that. Well, he might think that way. If you hate something before you even objective to what it is that is being said to you, that makes me think that.
Okay. Hank, what do you think about the exchange between the two?
I don't know, man. That's his wife, right? And so.
Well, the interesting part about it is, let me King, is it still up?
It can be. Give me a
Okay,
second.
go to the third slide. Well, go to the first one and then here, I'm gonna put it up and I want to see if you guys notice anything.
I got it.
Okay. So
that's
we have the first slide here, then the second slide, then the third slide. Go back to that third slide. Look at the top of what she has him saved under.
I didn't even see that.
Just the nigga I fuck occasionally. That's what she has at the top for his name. Okay. So I wouldn't say that they're married, but they are having a child together.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, it's obvious she don't respect the man. And look, if his preference is preference, he got caught slipping. He got caught slipping, probably went in there naked head. And now he got to suffer the consequences, deal with this heifer for the rest of his life. And ain't nothing he could do about it. I know it's not, maybe not be the thing you turned on. I don't know how much that Woodford Reserve you had to have in your system before you decided to knock that girl down for the size that she currently is. But you call her, last call for alcohol. You know how it is, man. Before the lights come on, ain't nothing popping off, and you see that one in the corner by herself, and there's a reason why, because nobody else wanted her. But you on a 5-month drought, and it's like, damn, you tired of that goddamn lotion, and you knock it down. It so happened, the ship slipped off. Either that or she told you she can't get pregnant. We all heard them stories. and he trusted what she said. And now she's pregnant with his child. And he's having second and third thoughts about it. I'm sure you are, but it's nothing you could do. Now you got to take care of what you created. Now let me tell you what he better do is make sure that is his. That's what you better do. Make sure you get a blood test. Maybe you dodged your bullet. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, I don't know. But if you didn't, you got to take care of your business, and you just stuck with her, and you're gonna be a forever joke with the homeboys. Remember that fat girl? Remember your baby mama you got with you calling the club? Oh yeah, we're gonna give it to you every time we get together. Remember that night we was at the club and you got? Yeah, don't remind me. I got Junior over to remind me. I don't need y'all to remind me. So it is what it is.
Thank you, Hank. Kenny, what about you? What did you think about the exchange between them about weight after this pregnancy?
Hey, listen, I'm the last one to talk about. You talking about who? So Kenny? I'm sorry.
I thought he said Kenny. I thought she said Kenny, but the bully got in.
I'm sorry, Kenny. Go ahead, man. Go
right.
ahead, Kenny.
One of them nights, that extra cup of Henny, bad decision. Then you gotta have that talk.
Anything is possible, is what he said. Anything.
You never. Okay, you already got him classified as what you classify him for. You're telling him 10 weeks in, maybe you have a decision you want to get rid of the baby. This is not something that you want to do. You're trying to make casual conversation without getting to the meat and potatoes. You already listed him as what? He's not going to be that man that you're interested in because you already gave him a title. Just because now you're pregnant, possibly with his baby, you could be doing what is it? The Maury? You are not the father or whatever. You're going on the list. Who knows how many other guys you got in the phone? That's lunch. That's just that nigga. Is he the only one? But you're having this discussion rather than it's just like a whole toxic mess. That's like a soup that I don't want to taste. Like if he was in that position, the example was given. Let's do the baby test. If it's mine, what you gonna do with it? We're not made for each other. So what we gonna do? You're gonna have a baby. I gotta do what I gotta do because at this point in time, you're 10 weeks in. Or you could choose to have the abortion. But I'm gonna do what I have to do because I have to accept the repercussions of my actions. But it's just a whole mess. She's just trying to beat around the bush. Tell him what you want to tell him.
Okay, maybe it's me. I don't know. How do we get to aborting the baby?
That's what I was trying to figure out.
Okay, watch this. The whole discussion is just partying around. If she labeled him what she labeled him in her phone, is that someone she's trying to be serious with? You're asking questions. Oh, my body. You like how I look? Could you see being with me? Implying that in the air. That if you could put it back up, I'm sure that's what I saw. The sentiment that was given. It wasn't the sentiment that I love you and I'm pregnant and what are we doing moving forward? it was just banter, pointless things regarding that. And then you touched on it lightly as for, okay, I'm 10 weeks in. And then you start talking about, could you see me being someone when I gain this weight and, you know, with child and stuff like that. And he blatantly showed he could give two shakes of a rabbit's tail about how you look because he saw you for what you had him in the phone. If you could put it back, that's the only thing I saw. I didn't see anything endearing about how he was talking to her.
Okay, so let's do this. So in the beginning, he actually says, I know, she asked the question, right? And he goes, I know this subject is touchy, but I know you asked because you really want to know. So it seems like weight may have been an issue, like an insecurity of hers. And now she's 10 weeks pregnant. And like you said, Kenny, they do seem like they're just sleeping around. I mean, look at what she has them saved under. So someone in the chat says she trapped him because, you know, she pretty much said, hey, you know, I knew you would be honest with me. She got clarity. So I look good enough for you to have sex with me, but not necessarily, you know, I as good as you would want me to look as far as body wise. She says, now my question for you is, are you physically attracted to me? He goes, face wise, absolutely, which is a, you know, affirmative. Body wise, if I'm being honest, could use some work. So he then affirms her again, you're a good mother, you're caring, kind, generous, patient, understanding, you want the best for everyone around you, blah, 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 blah. He said that she would be a good mother. So he's not even looking at her as wife material. I mean, obviously so, because they didn't get married and had a baby. They just had a baby because they were having sex together. So I think weight could have been an insecurity of hers even before she got pregnant. And she wanted to actually ask him this question because she wanted to genuinely know, you know, how do you feel about that? I mean, I don't know why she want to know. He ain't put no ring on her finger. So are you going to lose weight? Are you, I mean, what's the end goal? You know,
she was testing him to see what he would say. He said that the soft things, he didn't say that I want to be with you, I want to marry you, and you have that child. You be a good mother. He was playing the game. He doesn't want to say anything upsetting to her because women in that type of position can become very vindictive. Maybe he might have that talk with her. You sure you want to keep it after sending that text? Because now a text is a journal of how you feel, which could be detrimental to you and be used outside. This is what he said. You understand? Rather than have the conversation face to face. But no, at no point in time did he show that he cared to be with her. He like softly was dissing her. She asked him about the body, King. And you're like, oh, I don't like that. This, that, and the third. You're supposed to be, if this is a woman you care about, you're going to be sensitive to everything that you know about her. Baby, you don't look that big. Your back ain't that wide. Your feet ain't that big. You ain't got sausage fingers. I love you just the way you are.
okay, but if you don't like her just the way she is and she could lose a couple of pounds, how would you communicate that with her?
Not on text where she can hold it against me because I'm now 10 weeks pregnant with a kid. I'm going to say all the right things on text.
Y'all just don't know how to keep it real. Text, talking, like why wouldn't that be something you say to her over text? Because why would it be used against you if you're communicating it? And are you saying you wouldn't know how to communicate that through text to her and only talking to her?
I think he did a great job of skirting around the topic and her trying to pick certain things for him to say. And he didn't get out of line with the baby thing. You're a good, I know you'd be a good mother, caring, kind, and all this. You're not going to say that. There's times we've seen it. Texts have been brought up. This is what he did. This is what he said. This is how he treated me. And that could be used as fuel down the road. Those things get saved in a vault, Precious.
I hate to say I've done that. I'm like, call me, because this line of questioning something up. Call me.
You don't know if
I
she
ain't
with her
answering
friends. Ask him
nothing else.
this.
But
Ask him this.
Yeah.
okay, so y'all are saying y'all saying that you wouldn't be able to critically think and put something in a text message? You'd rather talk it out. And I'm not saying that you should text, important things or whatever, but I feel like y'all are getting to, y'all don't want a paper trail. It's, CYA, cover your ass.
Yeah,
That's what y'all doing.
yeah, that's
But,
yeah.
That's exactly what it's saying.
so
Yeah,
you're saying that you wouldn't put anything in a text message that would make you shine in
Incriminate.
a bad light?
Nope.
Okay.
Well, I put it
But you
this
ain't
way.
lying. You ain't out here lying. Right.
I'll push back on that because if you're gonna say something that's gonna incriminate you, then don't say it. Don't feel it. Don't think it. Otherwise, stand on what you said. We always talk about standing on standing, but then when it comes to standing, you don't want to stand all the way. Hey, stand on it. You being honest. Stand the truth. Be loyal to the truth, even if it condemns you.
Hey,
Sean, you out your
hold on.
rabbit ass mind.
Hold on. I respect the guy saying, hey, this is touchy, and I still think he was honest in what he said. But look what she still did. She took it and published that ish on George Bush's internet.
Thank
She
you.
still did it.
And so what? That's what you said. All right. So
I thought it was Donald Trump's internet.
Al Gore's internet.
Oh, God. Okay. I know that's right.
Sean, you doing a lot of line stepping
Thought it was
tonight.
Beyonce's internet.
That's to watch you.
no, I'm just like this, yo. We sometimes stand on the truth, and then we sometimes use manipulation or kind of as how did you just describe it? We sometimes CYA, cover our ass, and I just don't agree. It's hypocritical.
No, it's not. You just conflating issues.
Payne, real quick. So, Sean, you never got a text that was leading somewhere, and you never cleaned it up to get yourself away from something that could be documented via text? You never got yourself out of a conversation that you didn't want to be in via text?
Yes, I have gotten. Yes, I have spoken strategically, I guess is what you're saying.
Yeah. So how could you just say what you said?
I started with yes. I said yes, and then I continued.
All right.
That was my first point. Yes. So, but I also have grown. I also have done a lot of maturity since I've done that, and I'm also still growing. And I also still feel like, sometimes we gotta be able to grow up and live on what we do. And at this point in my life, that's where I'm at.
So in order to be grown, you can't be strategic. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, you can be whatever you want. Absolutely.
No. In order to be grown, you can't be strategic in what you said.
I answered that. I said you can be whatever you want.
No, you didn't answer. You skirting around the answer.
What part don't you understand?
I don't understand anything you said there. I mean, because you didn't
Okay,
give me
so
an
then
answer.
ask me more directly what you want.
Okay, in order to be
To be
strategic,
strategic, yes, you can be strategic. You can be
and be
whatever
grown
you
at the
want.
same time.
But here's the difference: strategic versus manipulative or deceptive are two different things. And sometimes what we're leaning towards is
The
deception
football
and
field is
manipulation.
only 100 yards long, so now it's 120 right now. Where you go?
I guess you didn't hear what I said. Strategic and deception, there's a fine line between the two. And if you're being strategic to get the touchdown, cool. If you're being deceptive and cheating to get the touchdown, I don't respect it. What part don't you understand?
Now I understand that part. So you're saying the guy was being manipulative?
No. First off, I didn't say it. That's what was
I'm
Kenneth.
asking you.
That's what Kenneth said. What I said about the guy is he was very open and honest about it, and she couldn't handle it. That's what I said.
Okay. So then you agree with Kenny.
I didn't disagree. I just said if he's doing it to I didn't agree with covering your ass type of thing. That's what I was rebutting. It wasn't that I was disputing that man didn't cover his ass. He actually said what he felt, and he did it, and she didn't like it, and that's
Yeah.
her.
Okay. All right.
I can't get on him because she didn't like what he said. That was where I started. You ask a question, be able to handle the answer.
Oh no, I had no answer. I just wanted to end it.
Not you. No. I'm saying her. She asked the question to
I
him,
got you, brother. I got you.
and she couldn't handle his answers, or she was getting a little discouraged. And after what Precious pointed out, as far as how she looks at him, I'm even more so like, really? You asking him these questions for what? Is that your? How about he asks you? Is that my baby?
You know what? Some men might be actually flattered that he's in the phone as a nigga I like to jam. I don't know. if you're in the chick's phone as a nigga I like to F, I mean that's not a bad badge of honor.
It is when there's no kid involved. It is when there's no kid involved. Once that kid get involved, it becomes an issue.
So he was making sure he didn't say anything that she wouldn't get rid of the kid. So you could piss her off into having the baby.
Yeah, because he I think Kenny was saying he was, dancing around that aspect of the conversation. So he could have been protecting the baby. So as to, say that to her about that situation. Lapeep, what do you think about the exchange? Did you hear us read the messages back and forth?
Yeah, I heard it for the most part, and just kind of gathered some context from the rest of the panel. But it kind of seems like he, like Hank said, like he just made a bad decision, and he's trying to retract back from it. It's not like he was self-sabotaging, to be honest. He's not trying to give her any green light on anything. And it sounds like he was treading a little bit lightly because she is having that baby. But like when a man don't really care like about that particular woman, man, he just starts to just say anything, and he don't even care at that point. He just like it is what it is. I'm not I need you to understand that I do not like you in that capacity, and I'm gonna let you know. But it sounded like he was still treading a little bit lightly because of the repercussions of what he could possibly say. But he's still gonna let her know a little something. This is just an example that men have to be careful about who they lay down with, and making sure if you are going to indulge in sex, just make sure you protect yourself. And if you don't protect yourself, just understand what comes with it, and hopefully the woman that you vetted to have sex with, that she'll also be an excellent mother. But you're taking a chance if you don't really know that person. So it's better to put the hat on, put the Jimmy on, and make sure that we don't create no unnecessary babies that's going to come into a toxic environment, and it's not going to get the tender love and care that they need.
Wow, you said it best earlier. I think you said if men start doing things with intention, it will avoid a lot of circumstances. I'm not quoting you, but something along those lines. And it couldn't have been said better. You just finished saying it again. In other words, if he would have, been more intentional, whether it be putting on a condom, because that's all you want, we might not be reading these texts right now between the two of them.
Yeah, man. I think intention is everything now, man. I think I've learned that more probably within the past maybe a couple of years, how important being intentional, and it really applies over every aspect of your life when you really think about it. If you was intentional about what you're doing and how you're moving, then you wouldn't be in a lot of situations that you are in. So it's something that I wholeheartedly believe in more than ever, and it's based off experience. And sometimes we don't really understand it, but once you start to do it or start to apply it, then you just be surprised of different results that you would witness throughout your life.
All right. Did everybody go on this one? Did everyone speak on? Everybody spoke on this one? All right. So we're going to get to the main topic of the evening, and it is the 3-month manipulation rule. I ran across this video, and I wanted to get you guys' opinion. Is it game or is it garbage? I must play the clip.
I'm going to break down this method that some men use, and it's typically known as the 3-month rule. And before we get into it, I can speak on it because unfortunately, yes, I have done it. I know I was a shitty ass human being for doing it. It's super manipulative, but this shit is foolproof. This shit worked. And I'm taking full accountability for it. I don't live that life anymore. And if you can't change something, embrace it. So I'm gonna embrace it by giving y'all the game so y'all can peep up on it. So from the first time y'all make contact, this man is giving you, boom, 100%. He'll text you first and he's consistent with it. The compliments, endless. This man is in love with you. He think you're the most beautiful person on the planet. He's always available. You can random FaceTime him and he's always picking up the phone. He tells you when he's going somewhere. He might even give you his location. Oh, he might even send you some money on. And this isn't just 1, 2, 3. No, he's consistent with it. That's the key, is consistency. That's what women fall in love with, consistency. And he'll fight through the phases you trying to play hard to get. Maybe you got certain boundaries from past relationships. He gonna respect them all. He might not even try to fuck. And now you think you done got the one. You think you done got the love of your life. You so proud of yourself. Oh, I stood on business. I never settled and I finally got him. No, baby. Nah, this just a start. So now that he knows that he got you, boom, he dropping to 95%. But you don't know this because that 5%, it's not too much of a difference from what he was doing. And then boom, he drops it to 90%. And some women notice it. Majority of women don't. Most of the time, the delusion that you got from him putting in 100% is still in there. So y'all not really finna peep. And then boom, he drops it to 80. And you notice this one, but you're not ready to say nothing yet. You assume that you just overthinking. You don't want to self-sabotage a good relationship that you don't find. So boom, now he drops it to 75. And you speak on this one. You reach out to me. You like, hey, what's going on? You seem a little distant. Is everything cool? You just seem a little off. This shit is so devious. Now the man's response would typically be, I'm just dealing with a lot. When I'm going through stuff, I just like to isolate. When my energy low, I just like to distance myself so it don't rub off on you. Okay, so boom, he knows you peeped the shift, so he bumps it back up to 75. And you're grateful. You happy about this 5%. You like, oh, he's putting back in effort. I knew he cared about me. Whoop, just feeding the delusion. But oh boy, 5% is nothing. From 70 to 75, that's what, a couple FaceTime calls today. He gonna keep chopping. It's gonna keep getting lower. You probably at 65, 60, 55% by now. So you say something again, and get what he do? Bump it back up 5 more %. And you still grateful because you communicated something and he changed. But it's 5%, shawty. That's nothing. And he just gonna keep chopping it. At this point, you at like 20%. But you so desperate to get back to that 100% that you thought were real. You like, please give me anything. And get what he do? He give you another 5%. And you still happy. Like, do y'all catch what's going on? The whole point of it is like this manipulative push and pull method. Like, give you a little bit, take a little bit more. But every time he's taking more and more away. He could give you, he could be at nothing, 0%. And you will be happy with that 5%. And I'm gonna give y'all an example just so I can peep how small 5% is. It's that random text you get. Hey, shawty, just thinking about you. Hope your day going well. How your mama doing? It could be a random swipe up on the story. You know what I'm saying? Some hard eyes, some, hey, you look gorgeous right here. Woo. Take this shit down. Woo. Like, the game has always been the game. And the only way to beat this is to believe him when he shows you who he is. A man that cares about you, he's not going a day without talking to you. There's no way that he's finna cut communication because he's going through something. He gonna want you a part of that. But y'all know the drill, man. Like, comment, follow. Tell me what else y'all want to know.
All right, so do you guys think it's game or is it garbage? I gotta ask guys. I had to say this for the men's panel.
Oh man, I'll start real quick. That is 100,000% of what I say often. He just debunked the whole game that a lot of men like to play. Not all, but a lot of men like to play. A lot of men who don't have the intention, that's exactly how they play it. Say it to women all the time, and they debunked it. They call me, no. Say it to men call me panderer. I say it to women say I'm a woman. Hey, but that's exactly how it goes down. if that's his intention from the start, is to just get the panties, there are no limits to the game that he will play. And that was just a very detailed version of a game plan in that game.
I don't know.
Okay,
He
so
said,
Sean says it's game, my P.
I'm not sure if it's always game all the time. I think it happens on both sides. I'm gonna try to stay more speaking of what the man said and what men do. But I think a lot of people show up with their representative, and then once those layers starts to come down, I think people start to notice things, and so you might have been a little bit anxious on the front end, but then you're starting to wonder, like, is there a deeper issue that may have gone unnoticed that are now is coming out? So I don't think it's always game. I don't think men like to lose, so sometimes they do like to kind of keep people a little bit close, just as they weigh out their options. And then I also think it depends on the person as well. You know, some people that get a lot of action, they're really not looking into things that deep like that. But and that's on both sides. But someone that really has feel like they got them one, and they haven't seen anything like that in a while, then I think that they're going to look at it and possibly say that it may be game. I may be all over the place with that one, but something to that. Hopefully, y'all get my drift.
R-Pain?
Yeah, listen, you know, when he kind of referenced that 90-day rule thing, and you know, I don't know how his game in reference to that. I kind of missed some of that in translation, but I tell women that 90-day rule doesn't work. Right? I don't want to get too far off the topic, because at the end of the 90 days, the guy that you've been stroking all the men that you for chicken dinners and shit, but the one guy you like, you want to make him wait for 90 days. Well, he's not Boo Boo the fool. He knows you got a maintenance man. He knows you got all this stuff going on while you trying to make him wait for the drawers. He knows you're banging out. The first time he can't reach you on the phone, he knows you're banging somebody out. So he gains resentment. So by the end of the 90 days, all he's thinking about is busting you down because you made him wait for 90 days. And then once he does, he's gone. He's ghosted. That's why a lot of women who make a man wait, as soon as they have sex, he ghosts them and they don't know why. Because all that time, you thought you had one on the hook. And a man will start getting vindictive. He said, listen, you're making me go through all of this shit. And I know you busting people down. But now, because you like me, I can't get none. Right? So he'll wait for that 90 days, bust you down, and then disappear. Because because he feels slighted. So I tell women, if you like the guy, have a representative period that you might want to wait, but don't be using no arbitrary dates. So I don't know about this guy's game. It sounds too intricate to me. Right? Because most of the average guys in the hood, I don't know if they can count by percentages and shit. So anyhow, I'm only joking. But yeah, all I'm just saying is it's all intricate shit. I know where he was trying to come from, but the game's a game. Men think they play the game with women, but the truth of the matter is women own a sexual marketplace. You know, some of us are good at it and we manipulate it. You know, I think we play in the pool better than others. But man, you know, women always mostly see men coming from a mile away, you know, so it's either one way or the other. So I hear his game, but I'm not really buying it that much. Very few men could pull it off like that if he's actually thinking he's pulling it off, you know. So I'll leave it at that. But I hate the 90-day rule, but that's a different subject.
Yeah, because he was just referring to the intensity of pretty much how he's trying to court this woman or show his interest, and it's, you know, it starts at 100, then it drops, and then it'll drop.
But was
a
he
little
getting
more,
the draws though? Was he getting the draws at 100? See, because if he was having a sex at 100, all the rest of the stuff doesn't matter. He's already getting what he wants. See, that I didn't catch that quite, you know.
I think he implied that he didn't get the draws.
That he didn't?
Affirmative, that he didn't.
Okay.
Did
See,
not.
that's what I'm saying. That's where I'm getting. So he goes through this whole thing just to get the drawers, and now he's down at 0%. You know, so I think I like my philosophy better.
I don't think the premise of the video was, you know, showing all this attention and pulling back and things of that nature for sex. I think it's just the intention, period. He's talking about the intention of a man who's not consistent. He starts out to be consistent and then he tapers off, but him tapering off and coming back with attention, he's saying that women are not catching on to him tapering off. And then once he comes back with the, hey, what you doing? How's your mom? And things like that, women are taking that as he's still interested when he has clearly shown that he is probably included somewhere else.
It only matters whether he's getting all of that. Only matters is if he's getting the goodies.
But even if he is getting sex from her, and you know acts in this way, I think he's saying that women shouldn't be so delusional once they see a man show himself for the first time. Meaning, if you know, let's just say they do have sex and he's not talking, he go a whole day without talking to you, okay? And now a woman's like, why isn't he talking to me? We just had the best sex ever and it was just great. And now he's not talking to me, right? And then he comes maybe the next day and says, hey, I had a long day, or I've been working all day, and blah, 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 blah. You know, she takes that as, oh, he was working, you know, problem solved, check, you know. And
I'm
then
with you. That's because he wants to come over tonight and get some more goodies.
Okay, so you're saying it's just all about the sex. When a man is inconsistent in the way that he described in this video, it's sex.
And if he could get the goodies by when he's down to 0%, if he can get you to keep giving him the goodies at 0%, he won. That's what he's saying.
Okay, gotcha. All right, Hank, what do you think?
Takes off mute. Oh shit! So there's a lot of talking. There's a lot of talking, and so I said it before, man. Some men just talk too goddamn much. I mean, he was really talking about nothing. So I assume he was putting her on a 90-day is what he was really bragging about, or I don't know. I couldn't really tell if that's what he was talking about or not. But look, if a woman's falling for this bullshit he's spitting, then shame on her. If she falls for this bullshit this man had to say and all of this word salad he was giving off, shame on her. Because, you know, talk is cheap. If his actions show he's not serious, then why are you dealing with him like that? Why are you giving yourself up like that? Unless we're both benefiting. Now, if we both benefit, hey, you know, it's all fun and love and war. I can't hold it against him. He can say what he wants to. I was going to give it to him anyway. He's really wasting a lot of breath. Use that breath on more pumps. I don't know. Because you talking about shit. If that's what y'all both agreed to, just getting together and having our having our session. But if he's just doing this just to take advantage of her, and she's allowing it, and she's falling for the banana in the tailpipe bullshit, that's on her. You should have realized that early on in the situation. He's not consistent like what I need him to be. And if you acknowledge that and you express it to him, you know, I need you more. Why aren't you making your presence felt more? Why are you just here when the sun go down? Why are you always we never go out and we out in public together? Why, if we do, it's late at night just to stop by the Chinese restaurant to, you know, get some takeout, and then we headed back to my house. Why ain't I been to your house? Or if I am coming to your house, why am I always coming through the back door or the side door at the apartment? Yeah, what's going on? Well, man, that's because he really don't want to be seen with you. He really don't like you. He's taking advantage of your kitty cat to the fullest. You have not recognized that as of yet, and he's going to keep milking it until he can. And more likely, he's going to move on to the next.
To the left, to the left. Okay, Kenny, what do you think? Game or garbage? Is he selling? Is he giving away the game, or
Ain't no young dude with no toothpick in his mouth gonna give me game on life. He still got a hairline. I respect you when your stuff start receding. You understand? Young whippersnapper. What you gonna tell me about life? You can't trust. Look, all pain. You have daughters. If you had a young dude come in your house with a toothpick in his mouth, what's up, pops?
It's over already. I said this.
Exactly. You ain't
can't
giving
see
me no
him no
game.
more.
You just on the net to look pretty. Life ain't that hard. You present yourself as who you are. Be upright. Stand on your twos. Say your please and thank yous. Show a woman who you are. Don't fake it. No fronting. And then see how it plays out. Make sure you protect your heart, though. And then take it step by step. If you put a whole turkey on the table, you ain't going to eat it in one sitting. You're going to eat it piece by piece. So goes relationships. See if this person is the right fit for you. See if she could be that cornbread to your full plate with butter on it, nice and hot. You a young dude. You ain't ready to have those type of discussions, them hard discussions with me. You barely learned to piss straight. I digress.
Yo, your verbiage is impeccable, Ken. Almost like I almost feel like you got a toothpick right there. But nah, seriously, you do drop a lot of jewels. And what I want to came back on to say is that although I was saying men play games and that's part of that's a play in their game plan, women play games too. They play the same game. The problem is with love, we playing games instead of really trying to intentionally have some structure, some family, or things of that nature. And so we just keep on gaming each other. Women playing the game, the man playing the game, and we wind up getting hurt in the game, and still stay competitive in the game, and and the cycle continues. But I think that he did point out one play in the game, and that some men do play that. And I said it in a rhyme before. It could take a day or even a whole year. I still got the pussy, so I really don't care. That's some mentality of some men. And that's what he was describing in my opinion.
okay? And did King go on this? Game
I
or
didn't,
garbage?
but I think it's garbage. And the only reason why I say that is I'm a little bit biased. I've never been a guy that is a guy that talk about game. Like I think that game dudes are goofy. And there's two type of people that I tune out on, and there's nagging people and people that want to talk about, hey man, here's game, and then they talk about some goofy shit. So to be honest, I heard the first 6 words that the young brother said, and then when he said Munyon, I was done.
Yeah, when he said Munyon, I'm like, where they say that at? Where you live at? When I heard it the first time, I had to rewind it. Like, did he even say money? Yeah. So I think that with this video, it probably is to me, it sounds like a young men's game. Let me do enough to hook her. Let me get her delusional. Let me get her hooked on the D. Let me just do enough so that, she's calling me day and night. We're talking. So she thinks that we have this connection, but I know that we don't have this connection. And like the one thing he did say, though, towards the end of the video is if a man likes you, there's going to be consistency throughout. And I think that's the best thing, because that's how you get to actually learn someone. You get to study them that way. And if you are studying a man and there are, chinks in his armor, or, periods of times that you're not talking, or he could give two shits about what you're, going through or what you're doing, you as a woman have to then sit back and say, is my time worth it? Am I investing in the right person? Because obviously you're not, if a man can just go days without talking to you and then come back and be like, hey, how are you? What's up? How's your mom? How was the weekend? Yeah, you ain't talked to me the week before, the last 3 or 4 days in the week. You know what I mean? So I think that a lot of women, when they get attention, they think that attention is good, and not all attention is good attention. And so a lot of women need to really learn how to have that discernment when dealing with men. And I think these panels, I appreciate you guys for your time and always dedicating, this time slot for these discussions, because I like to get your opinion so you can tell the people what it is as men that you're thinking, what's going through your head, your perspectives, and how you see these situations play out. Because I don't think a lot of women have a lot of men to bounce certain ideas off of. And some women have men that they could bounce ideas off of, and they just don't want to listen. And we know Hank called them heifers. Them heifers can stay deaf, dumb, and blind until they get knocked upside their head a couple more times. Okay, I made that
Say it
rhyme.
again. Talk about the heifers.
But you can't really change someone's mind who don't want their mind to be changed, and know that their mind need to be changed, but they just don't want to change their mind, and they don't want to do the things necessary in order to put them in a different trajectory of, successful relationships, or even a healthy one, just a healthy relationship. A successful relationship is a healthy relationship. So I really do appreciate you guys. Let me get to a couple of these chats. Let me see. Jason Nelson says, some men get off on having as many women confused as possible. Is that true?
Well, you know what I was going to say? The game isn't just getting the panties always. Sometimes the game is, like you said earlier, seeing how many you can you can I forgot how you worded it, but you can control it, you can put it or you can keep in your under your spell, so to speak. I don't know. You worded it a lot better earlier, but the point is,
that's if you're a pimp. That's like pimp talk.
And a lot of men sometimes like being pimps. That's the other part of the game. Some men like getting the panties. Some men like being pimps. I'm glad you said that word, because that's exactly the two portions of a game that some men play.
I don't know what you heard about me. That's what they said. All right. Hoka Yoga says he's too young-minded, need an older gentleman's perspective. And I believe the men on the panel tonight definitely gave their perspective on if it's game or not. And sometimes it's not always game. I like what Lapeef said. He had to go, but he said it's not always game. You do have to feel out people, and you don't necessarily know what their temperaments are or how they'll react or things like that. Time is a huge teller of a lot of things, but don't take too much time, especially women. You don't want to take too much time, because you may not have that much time. Men can kind of take as much time as they need and they want, because as they get older, they become more valuable as far as providing and being able to cover and take care of. Whereas women, as we get older, we have that internal clock. Are we having babies? Are we not? What are we doing? So, it is easier for men to fool around longer, per se. I'm not saying that it's smart or wise to do that. I'm just saying that you guys do have the ability and a little bit more time to do that, whereas women don't necessarily have that. But we're going to get to final words and then we're going to get out of here. Let's see here. If you guys have enjoyed the show, definitely do not hesitate to send me a little snack money. I would appreciate it. And we're going to jump to final words. And so we will start with, did somebody just jump on? You know what? I didn't open the panel tonight. I just realized that. I didn't even open the panel tonight. That's all right. You guys were enough. So we'll start with Sean. We'll work our way over, and then we will end with the actual King Smith. Final words for this evening.
Final words. First and foremost, thank you for your condolences, those of you who expressed it. And it put me in a different state of mind.
I didn't know anything happened. I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, yeah. My first love wound up dying last week, and it was after she her son in less than a month ago got killed. And I knew it was going to devastate her, and it kind of drove her to the point of where now she's gone. And so it brought me to a point of just reflecting on things a bit differently. And that's why sometimes that's why I'm real sensitive about gaming tonight, you know, and playing games and not being intentional, because we waste a lot of time doing so. And it's not gender specific. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And it's not gender specific that I'm talking to, because men play games, like I said, and so do women play games. And I wish we would just stop playing games with each other so that we can get better. And part of getting better and part of not playing those games is, as Precious always says, being hot, honest, open, and transparent. And the honesty part, we do well. That's kind of what we was lending to. And when we was talking about covering your own ass, you can honestly cover your own ass. But that then eliminates openness and transparency, which is part of the foundation of why we don't trust each other. And our lack of trust with each other and for each other is why we have a lot of struggling relationships, and not just romantic relationships, but business relationships, friendships, and other relationships. So I just hope we can do better. Hope we can trust more. Hope we can learn how to be honest, open, and transparent, so that we can at least go towards a goal of us being able to coexist and being able to have a better family structure, a better community, and a better mentality with that.
All right, we'll go over to Hank. Final words, sir.
Shucks, man. Final words for the night. Black man, just protect yourself at all times. If it means you need to get on somebody's couch or somebody's Zoom meet, get your mind right. Make sure you get your A1C and your blood work in order. Diabetes and heart disease, two amongst the biggest killers amongst black men. So take care of yourself. A man of a certain age, like me and Brother Payne, we need to go make sure we get our prostates and our colonoscopies. Take care of yourself, man. Colon cancer is a mother, man. I've seen it and I experienced it as far as with my grandfather, and a scare with my dad. So definitely make sure you stay on top of that, fellas.
Thank you, Hank. I appreciate you for being here. Kenny, final words?
These panels are important. We're forwarding the community to try to at least get it back to where we need to get it. And these conversations are very important. It's glad that we have different point of views, but at the end of the day, we come together as a village and have these discussions. I think we're moving in a good direction, and I implore everybody to take these discussions off this podcast and have them within your village, with your families. Each one teach one. I think we do a great job every time we come up here, at least touching topics that mean something, are tangible to our villages. And, you know, I'm thankful that we have this space to do it. So I have to thank you, Precious, and Lapeef and such. So I bid you, brothers, as well as you, Precious, a great night.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate you for being here. Art Payne, final words, sir?
Yeah, one of the reasons why I was able to peep that guy's game with his percentages on what he was doing is because it's not game at all. The best game, especially if you want to be intimate with women, is the truth game. If you're truthful, you're going to leave a lot on the table, but if you're truthful, those relationships are much more meaningful, right? A lot of these guys with this hard game, they leave a lot of hurt bodies in their wake. And that's where the trauma comes from. So you got to be, even if you don't want to be serious, you could be truthful with a woman in some aspects, not brutal truth, but you got to let her know that all you want to do is have a good time for now. And you'd be surprised how many women will reciprocate, because a lot of women want to just have a good time. But when you play the games and you hurt them on the way, then that doesn't do anybody any good. So I think the truth game is the best game. You don't have as much quantity, but the quality of your relationships are better. That's how I look at it. Whether they lead to marriage or anything, that's another matter. But if you if you know some good women, I'm gonna land on this. If you know some good women, even if you're intimate, in the end of that, if you're still cordial with each other, now you're still building a network of people who might be beneficial to you later on, even if it's not sexually. So why hurt people on the way just so you have a couple of momentary, gain? So I think that's always the best game. Be truthful, take a little less, have better quality, and we'll all be much better off.
Amen to that.
Or I think you might be on mute, sis.
You're talking on mute.
My bad. I said the truth game is the only game. But thank you so much for that, Art Payne. I definitely agree with that. I always say be real with yourself so you can be real with others. The actual King Smith, your final words, sir?
I'm going to be brief. I loved exactly what Art Payne said. 100%. I don't have anything that would be different that is burning for me just to say, but I really liked how he summed that up. I'm a big believer in just being straight up. If you like what I have to offer, then we can rock together. If you don't, billions of other people out there, go be with that. That's all I got.
All right. And like I just said, someone actually put it in the chat and I liked it. I started so I wouldn't lose it. But he said, Anton says the fatal lie is the one you tell yourself. You guys know I always leave these lives by saying, be real with yourself so you can be real with everyone else. And it's so crucial. It may sound, cliche, or you may hear me say it a lot, but especially women, we talked about a lot of topics tonight, and I'm not saying men don't have to be real with themselves, but I think men are a little bit more logical and realer with themselves more than women are, because we are more emotional, illogical at times, irrational at times, and we're not being real with ourselves. We'll know the things that we have to do. We'll know the things that we must disconnect from. We'll know the roads that we have to go down, and we are not being real with ourselves and actually taking or putting forth the steps in order to get there. And then we want to blame everybody else when years roll by or kids now surface. And we're not just talking about one, we talk about 2 or 3. And now we want to blame the daddy and say, oh, he's nothing, or he's a deadbeat baby dad, or whatever the case may be. But as women, you have to be real with yourself and you have to take accountability. You can't play the blame game. You can't play the blame game whatsoever. We talked about a wife slapping her husband's mama, which that could have been rectified if she would have just, went to her husband. That's your recourse. You having a problem with his mama, you go to the son, because that's your protector, that's your provider, that's your cover. And if he can't handle the situation, then y'all need to go talk to somebody else where he can build the skills to handle situations like that. We also talked about a man who is in a relationship where he doesn't feel like he's appreciated. Again, women need to be real with themselves. If you can't forgive and fix, forgive and move on. If you can't forgive and fix, forgive and move on, because you don't want to hold someone hostage for something that they're trying to rectify or make better, and you keep holding them to their past. It's not right, and it's not fair, and it's definitely not loving. And then with this 3-month rule, I agree with our pain. You know, the truth game is the only game. You either going to be real with me or you're not going to have a spot in my life. And it's just as simple as that. And as women, as you keep it real with yourself, you'll genuinely be able to discern who is keeping it real with you and who is not keeping it real with you. That's what happens when you're real with yourself. It helps you build discernment against others, because you know how you want to be treated. You know what you want to be done to you. And so it's, you know, treat others like you treat yourself. Well, if you treat yourself well, then you're going to treat others well, and you're going to also feel those, you know, those good spirits, as opposed to those spirits that don't mean you no good, that want to take advantage of you, that want to manipulate you in 3 months. Right? So as women, we definitely have to be real with ourselves so we can be real with others. Okay, we have to be real with ourselves so we're not manipulating others. We have to be real with ourselves so we're not blaming others. And so those are my final words for this evening. I usually leave it up to you guys with the final words to leave us, but I just wanted to speak to the ladies. You know, definitely invest in yourself. Don't wait for a man to do it. Don't wait for your parents to do it. You have to invest in yourself, because once you invest in yourself, it opens up the doors of what you can obtain. It opens up the doors of how you see the world and how you show up in the world, honestly. And how you show up is how they're gonna how people are gonna meet you. So we have to be mindful of that. I really do appreciate you guys all the time for coming on Mondays. You don't have to be here, but you choose to, and so I do appreciate that. I appreciate our co-hosts, our chats. Thank you guys for always participating. I always see some of the same names, but I do see some new names who come over from the panelists, up their channels. I believe King did drop everyone's channel, so definitely subscribe to everyone. Click that bell so you're notified of all posts, all interactions, all social media actions, so you keep up with us. Some people are on other people's shows, some people have their own shows, so we all collaborate. We're all definitely in this space together and try to help each other out. But I definitely do appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart, because like I said, you don't have to be here, but you choose to be here. And you guys, it's been a great Monday evening. I really appreciate you. I appreciate those on Facebook who have been liking and also interacting. Thank you so much. You don't have to be here, but you choose to be here. And so I am thankful that these lives are able to be spread across the platforms. But if nobody has anything else, we are going to be out of here. You guys be real with yourself so you can be real with others. You guys have a great Monday evening and happy Tuesday to you. See ya.